Hi everyone, Dr. Nicole here. So this is another part of our Voyage to Vitality series. We are going to talk about the implant process. This is a very confusing thing for a variety of reasons, mostly because dentists don't explain it well. So what I'm going to do is break out my Bob Ross tooth drawings and explain the process and how long it takes to get implants placed. Okay, so let's talk about the implant process. Key word is that this is a process. You don't just magically get an implant and a cap on top of there, okay? So if you come in and unfortunately you have a bad day and you have a tooth that has an infection, like this one that's broken and has an infection and needs to come out, there are steps of things that have to happen for you to get an implant placed. And there are steps of things that have to happen for the implant to go well and be healthy. Okay, so as you can see here on my poorly drawn Bob Ross tooth, there is the top of the tooth that's broken, and then there's the root of the tooth. And there's an infection. So when the tooth comes out, you have to clean out the infection, and you have to let your body heal the area. All right, that's very important. The other thing that you need to know is that when the tooth comes out, there's going to be a hole. It's called an extraction socket. It's literally a hole, okay? This hole will dissolve away and cover itself up and it will disappear, but it also loses bone. So the important thing to understand is that in a correct implant process with an infected tooth, what you will do is you will take out the infected tooth, you take out the infection, and then you fill the hole in with stuff called a bone graft. Now, I have an entire video on what a bone graft is. I answer a lot of questions about that. So if you have any questions and think that I'm speaking a foreign language, which most people do, check out my video about a bone graft. I will include it below, okay? But what a bone graft is, just 30 seconds. It's bone material that gets placed into the extraction socket, aka hole that's left when the tooth comes out, and it allows the body to heal around the material and keeps as much bone there as possible. All right. When there is a lot of bone there, it makes it so that you can have an implant successfully, which is the whole point. Okay. Now, this is an important part of the implant process. When the tooth comes out and the bone graft is placed in, you then have to wait 3 to 4 months till everything is healed, okay? And it will look something like this. It'll all be bone, there'll be healthy gums on top, it will be pink and beautiful, all right? The reason why it takes 3 to 4 months is because your body has to grow bone into the area and the infection has to be cleaned and your body has to take care of it. What then happens is you get the go-ahead from the surgeon, and the surgeon will go in and they'll put the implant in. Now, as we know from my video about what an implant is a medical grade titanium screw that replaces the root of the tooth, okay? When this goes in, it's the exact same thought process and concept as having a hip or knee replacement. You put a hole in there, you put the implant in, and then your body heals around it and grows bone. It quote-unquote osteointegrates. That's what they mean. It becomes part of you. You are bionic now, all right? You do not have the metal detectors go off at the airport bionic. You're not that fancy, but you still are bionic. All right, so the healing time for this implant placement is 3 to 4 months. Boy, that seems like a lot of time, because it is a lot of time, and that is why it's an implant process, okay? What then happens is the surgeon goes in and they have to make sure that everything is integrated. Basically, that your body has built bone around it and it's strong enough for you to chew on. Once that happens, that is when you get to put the cap onto the top of the tooth. Now, from our video about what an implant is, we talked about how there's a connector, right? Oop, wrong line I took apart. Sorry, guys. There's a connector that goes down and goes into the implant and around, remember, and then there's a cap that gets put over the top, or a crown, whichever nerd word you'd like. That's fine by me, okay? This is another couple of week to couple of month process. So that I'm just going to go with 1 month to get the implant crown put on. So if you are a lucky devil and your implant process goes absolutely perfectly, you are looking at having the tooth out to having the crown on in about 7 months, okay? So this is a very important concept. It doesn't happen overnight. There's a lot of things that have to happen with your body. Things have to go well, and you have to allow yourself to heal properly around the implant, all right? So if you have any questions or want to discuss this further, please feel free, let us know, give us a call. But until then, keep on brushing.